It's hard to believe that Euro 2012 was almost 8 years ago. It feels like no more than a few years ago that Spain, without a recognised centre-forward in their starting 11, tore Italy to shreds in Kiev to make it a trio of consecutive major international honours. In the near 8 years since, Spain have become a shadow of their former selves, France have asserted their dominance, and Zayn left one direction. It's been a turbulent period, and I may have overlooked one or two other world events there as well. Anyhow, given the extensive period of time that has passed, I thought it would be an interesting idea to take a look back at the Euro 2012 team of the tournament and how those players are getting on now. And since you've clicked on this video, presumably you agreed. Either that, or you just have fat fingers. Here is Euros 2012's team of the tournament. Where are they now? Iker Casillas, Porto. Spain famously won Euro 2008, the 2010 World Cup and Euro 2012, and Iker Casillas made the dream team of all three competitions. That is a mark of the Spaniard's class and longevity, and anyone who tells you he isn't worthy of a mention when talking about the greatest goalkeeper of all time is wrong. Casillas won 167 caps for Spain, an all-time record at the time of his international retirement, and the Real Madrid legend has been with Porto since 2015. In that time, he has made over 150 appearances, and he made the Primera Liga Team of the Year last season. Casillas suffered a heart attack in July 2019, from which he has recovered and since returned to training, as well as taking up a coaching role at Porto, and he has said he will decide whether to return to action or retire from the playing side of the game next month. Fabio Contras, retired. As is often the case with some of these dream teams and teams of the tournament, there is a lack of proper formula with the 11, which in this case leaves us with two left backs and no right back. The first of the two left backs in the Euro 2012 team of the tournament was Fabio Contras, who has perhaps suffered the steepest fall from grace of any player in this 11. Contras was playing for Real Madrid at the time of the finals in Poland and Ukraine, and he went on to amass more than 50 caps for Portugal. Contras' demise began shortly after Euro 2012, to be honest, as his game time steadily decreased at Real, followed by loan moves to Monaco and Sporting Club de Portugal. He moved permanently from the Bernabeu in 2018, returning to his boyhood club Rio Ave. In 22 games, he received 11 yellow cards and 2 red cards, failing to agree a new deal the following summer with any club. Contras officially announced his retirement from football last month. Pepe, Porto. Portugal reached the semi-finals of Euro 2012, where they were beaten on penalties by their near neighbour Spain. Two Portuguese defenders made the Euro 2012 team of the tournament, and both of them played their club football for Real Madrid. Brazilian-born centre-back Pepe ranked 6th in Portugal's all-time appearance charts, having won 109 caps for the country and counting. He was pretty much at the peak of his powers for both club and country in 2012, although his only international trophy came 4 years later at Euro 2016. Following 9 seasons with Real Madrid, Pepe joined Besiktas in 2017 before making a long-awaited return to Porto. Aged 36, Pepe is still a key man for Porto and a full international with Portugal. Sergio Ramos, Real Madrid. Every single one of the first 4 players listed in the Euro 2012 team of the tournament played for Real Madrid at the time, but Sergio Ramos is the only one still contracted to Los Blancos. A Real Madrid legend, Ramos recently broke Iker Casillas' record as Spain's most capped player of all time, hitting an incredible 170 caps. Only 6 players have won more caps than Ramos worldwide, and it's not unlikely that he could claim the all-time record if he keeps going for another couple of years. A fierce competitor and a prolific goalscorer by defender standards, Euro 2012 was around the time that Ramos switched from the right-back position to centre-back. He had already been with Real for 7 years by the time of Euro 2012, and he has since been with them for another 8, racking up 635 Real Madrid appearances in total, putting him 5th in the club's all-time appearance charts. Jordi Alba, Barcelona. Spain beat Portugal 4-2 in the Euro 2012 semi-final shootout, and they beat Portugal 3-2 in terms of the first 5 players in this 11. Jordi Alba rounds off an all-Iberian back 5, in which he is the second left-back. Whilst Euro 2012 signalled Fabio Contras' farewell from football at the highest level, it somewhat signalled Jordi Alba's arrival. Having just joined Barcelona from Valencia, Alba was spectacular at the Euros, and he found the back of the net emphatically in the final against Italy. It looked as though he had applied the finishing touches to 2 superb teams in Spain and Barcelona, although 2012 was actually the end of an era to a certain extent for both. Nevertheless, Alba has had a sensational career as one of the outstanding fullbacks of his generation. He has won 70 caps for Spain, and almost 8 years and 321 games later, the 30-year-old is still with Barcelona. Sami Khedira, Juventus. Breaking the Spanish and Portuguese stronghold over this 11, Sami Khedira was the only German to make the Euro 2012 team of the tournament. Germany reached the semi-finals in Poland and Ukraine, still building, with a relatively young squad, and they went on to win the biggest trophy of them all in Brazil 2 years later. Sami Khedira was their sole representative in the Euro 2012 team of the tournament, making it 5 Real Madrid players in the 11. This was Khedira's penultimate season before he became susceptible to injuries, and he played every minute of Germany's run to the semis. In 2015, Khedira left Real to join Juventus on a free transfer, and 143 games and 4 Serie A titles later, he's still with the old lady. Andrea Pirlo, retired. Despite Spain's dominance and brilliance, you could make a good case for Andrea Pirlo being the outstanding individual at Euro 2012. England met Italy in the quarterfinals, and when they did so, all the talk in England was regarding how to keep Mario Balotelli quiet. In Italy, however, they knew Pirlo was the man who would decide the game. In the end, no team could win that game in 90 minutes, but it was Pirlo's nonchalant penalty that turned the tide in the shootout. A world-class central midfielder who obviously had phenomenal vision and was a magnificent passer of the ball, Pirlo was also a really underrated technician. He won the World Cup with Italy in 2006, where he made the team of the tournament, and he did likewise in 2012 as Italy reached the final. Pirlo was starring for Juventus at the time, but he joined New York City in 2015 before retiring from football in 2017. Andres Iniesta, Vissel Kobe. Whilst an argument could be made for Andrea Pirlo being the player of the tournament at Euro 2012, Andres Iniesta was the actual player of the tournament, and probably deservedly so. Iniesta was right at the peak of his powers as the Guardiola era came to an end at Barcelona, and he played wide on the left in Vicente Del Bosque's fluid strikerless 4-3-3 formation. The little magician was simply a joy to watch, playing with a smile on his face and magic in his boots as Spain seemed unstoppable. Iniesta won the Player of the Tournament award without scoring a single goal, such was his all-round contribution to Spain's play, and he stuck around at Barcelona for another 6 years. The 35-year-old left Barca in 2018 to join Vissel Kobe, and talk of a January return to Barcelona was quickly dismissed last month. Xavi, Al Sadd manager. You can't have one without the other, and joining Iniesta in the Euro 2012 team of the tournament was his old comrade Javi Hernandez. The metronome who kept Barca and Spain ticking throughout the most successful era in both teams' histories, Xavi was the La Masia mantra in human form. For around a decade, no team truly managed to neutralise the threat of Xavi, whose constant ability to make himself available to receive the ball and retain possession gave Barca and Spain the freedom to stick so resolutely to their principles. Xavi was already 32 when Euro 2012 came about, but he was still arguably the best midfielder on earth. He left Barca in 2015 to join Al Sadd, and after 4 years with the club, he hung up his boots and took the reins as the Qatari side's manager in 2019. Mario Balotelli, Brescia. Unlike the team that won the Euro 2012 final, the Euro 2012 team of the tournament did have a recognised centre-forward, and the team's number 9 was Mario Balotelli. Whilst the English press and perhaps coaching staff were wrong to put such an emphasis on Balotelli rather than Pirlo, the young striker did have an impressive tournament. He was the joint top scorer at the finals, netting thrice, with 2 of his goals coming in the semi-finals against Germany. His first was a well-timed header, but it was his second that would take all the headlines, as Balotelli caught Philipp Lahm napping and punished Germany in emphatic style with a fiercely hit strike from range. Sadly, Euro 2012 stands more as an example of how good Balotelli could have been than as a starting point of his journey to world-class status. In the season following the finals, Balotelli scored just 3 goals in 20 games for Man City, before departing for AC Milan. He now plays for Brescia in Serie A, where he's had an eventful homecoming since the start of the season. Cristiano Ronaldo, Juventus. Over half of the Euro 2012 team of the tournament played for Real Madrid at the time, and Cristiano Ronaldo was the 6th and final Real player to make the 11. Ronaldo was one of 6 players, along with Balotelli, who scored 3 goals at the finals, finding the back of the net twice against the Netherlands in the group stages and once against the Czech Republic in the quarter-finals. Ronaldo was criticised by certain sections of the press for wanting to take the so-called glory shot in Portugal's shootout against Spain. Ronaldo reportedly wanted to wait until last to take his shot from 12 yards out against Iker Casillas, but following misses by Joao Moutinho and Bruno Alves, a fifth spot kick would never arrive. It may have been a bizarre decision with hindsight, but without Ronaldo, Portugal wouldn't have reached the semis in the first place. Ronaldo was midway through making history with Real Madrid at the time, and he departed in 2018 as the club's all-time record goalscorer. The 35-year-old now stars for Juventus, where he is having a fantastic second season. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Feel free to give the video a like if you enjoyed it, in fact please do, and make sure you're subscribed to HITC Sevens, and head over to www.englandsgreatestdefender.com to have your mind blown by the best football book ever written.